Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today I will be doing another review on Us Part 2. And today I would like to go over the rest of the theories that I have for and the rest of the references and Easter eggs that were made in the movie. So if you still have not seen the movie, spoiler warning right now, do not watch this video if you have not seen the movie Us. Again, spoiler, do not watch this review if you have not seen the movie Us. So let's get started. Now probably where I left off was probably talking about the opening, the small premise of Us and a couple of Easter eggs and references here and there. And today I was talking more about the references in the movie, especially the references made in the trailer of the tethers holding hands, like making like a human chain across the trailer. And that reference is to the Hands Across America, where in the first scene of the movie you will see a young Adeline watching Ad Forward on TV during the Ronald Reagan era of his presidency, and this kind of influenced the events that are to come, basically, because this is what sparks the real Adeline and her revenge to come back to the service world and take back what initially was before Red and her had switched places, and she was the real Adeline was stuck in the tether world, while the fake Adeline Red was in the real world and getting what Adeline should have gotten. Another instance at the very end of the movie, when fake Adeline wins her fight against the real Adeline and depart with the rest of her family in the car that was available is the ambulance earlier. In the movie, we see the young son Jason, uses a little toy ambulance, like maybe like this big, to wedge in between like a closet to provide an easy escape route, in which he did before his sister was mean and locked him in there. But also he used it again to trap his doppelganger Pluto in there to help him and his mom escape from their version of their selves. And then they also use it to escape at the end of the movie. Also, according to the reference that over then is that when at the end of the scene, Jason and the fake Adeline give each other a look, and he realized something is like very off with her, because they shared a very similar moment in the beginning of the movie where she was trying to like snap to the music, but she was kind of snapping off, like off beat in a sense, like she couldn't like time it right. And there was another instance in the movie where her and her husband were talking how she felt uneasy about going to the Santa Cruz, where she experienced these traumatic events, but then her speech started to slur, and it kind of makes sense as a child, like that she had trouble like communicating with everybody, and it just shows in the very beginning of the movie how she's like kind of doesn't make like a lot of conversation because she's not used to it. That also hit because fake Adeline couldn't talk, Adeline could. So when the fake Adeline became to the real world, she had to slowly adjust to the real world so she could act humanly as possible, even though there was a small instant that her tether nature was still not fully gone yet. And those are the key examples that I noticed too. And also, when the fake Adeline is stabbing a member of the tethers with scissors at their deceased friend's house, Jason sees this and he's visually alarmed, but he doesn't like say anything. He doesn't like, he doesn't like, I guess, react as you would if you see someone stabbing someone with scissors, I guess. So if I saw that, I'd be freaking out, like, no joke. And then, since in the movie, in a sense, we see the tether as like underclass and the sunlight and forced to eat rabbits for food, while their counterparts, us, enjoy nice meals, material comfort that we all take for granted. Therefore, the tether, for example, Jason's tether is called Pluto, reference to the god of the underworld in Roman mythology and the furthest planet from the sun, the light. And it kind of makes sense that his tether will be obsessed with fire and light, and also a slight pyromaniac. Okay, a huge pyromaniac. That seems like in the beginning of the movie, like shortly through it, just a little bit, like maybe 5-10 minutes, Jason mentions that he can do a trick, a magic trick, and he can't remember how he knew the trick, but he said he knew it, but he didn't remember how it was done. And unfortunately, Pluto, his double, succeeded in the trick and burned half his face. That's why he wears the mask or tries to hide that burn, because he was successful with the trick, but as Jason was not. And that's why when they get together, Pluto was kind of getting upset with Jason, because Pluto knew the trick, but Jason did not. That's why he tried so hard to get Jason to like click it until he find it, and that was Jason's chance to escape from his double. And then also, close to the end of the movie, his double appears in front of the Wilson bed, in front of the car, and Jason makes him, well, because he knows his copy will copy what he does, so makes Pluto walk back to the fire and being burned by self-inflation, and ensures that Jason, it also insinuates that Jason and Pluto also switch places, because there's a reference where fake Adeline screams no, because she realized that Pluto, who is stepping like backward stepping into the fire, is actually her son, and that Jason is the real Adeline's son. And while that event is happening, the real Adeline takes Jason, her son, back down to where she was, and while the fake Adeline realizes her son is being burned alive, and right in front of her eyes. And it could also be assumed that since the fake Adeline must have switched them when they were young, like probably when they were babies, because she could mold Jason and teach him how to speak English, how she was taught to speak English when her and the real Adeline switched places, because the real Adeline only had the language of basically a little 5-year-old girl. So maybe she didn't know a lot, but when they switched places, the tellers assumed that the real Adeline, what they thought was Red, was special, so she would be the one to like set them free and like start the whole revolution and things like that. But it also questions is, why didn't she switch the girl as well? But I guess this wouldn't make too much sense, because if the daughter was born first, there's no way she could easily like mold the daughter what she wants. But with the son, she could. That way the son and her can share a similar bond together, because they both know that they either switch places. Because at the end of the movie, when Jason looks at fake Adeline, she gives him a smile, and he knows, so he just slowly puts his mask over him, and like that's him keeping the secret that they both know together, in a sense. Another thing that I have referenced is the sister's double is called Embre. It's plural form for ombre, the darkest part of a shadow during the total phases of an eclipse, meaning that the teller had long been neglected, dark, and rendered invisible to the people above them. And when Red finally moves in the flashback where Red and Adeline battle off before her dying moment, she whistles an itsy bitsy spider tune that's kind of eerily creepy, but that brings us back to the flashback of that moment when Adeline met Red in the first place, because as Adeline had separated from her parents in the carnival scene, Red was following her too into the fun house where it says find yourself. And then fake Adeline, Red, waits for her to face her. She grabs her by the throat, which is the voiceover that allows us to speak, so she can unconsciously drag Adeline down to where she lived at. And that's why you see also at the end of the scene where fake Adeline goes down the elevator to find her son, that she knows this place because it was familiar to her, and this is where she grew up. So that's why she knows where to go. That's why she's been moved with the place. That's why she was able to find the door that was hidden behind the funhouse in the first place. But it also assumes that when you hear the real Adeline whistle this tune, it kind of brings you back to that flashback, that triggers the event, so you know what's truly happening. And that is the big twist here, because you thought, oh, you want the Wilsons to win because you think this is the real family. But when you hear the itsy bitsy spider tune, like, hold on. And singing that ear tune, because fake Adeline and Red and real Adeline was the same tunes. That way the real Adeline could follow that tune, thinking she was on her way out. When she encountered Red, she was already at her demise, Faith had already taken place, because fake Adeline had switched her, took her shirt, switched places, and then smiled at real Adeline by walking out and leaving her handcuffed to that bed for at least 20 or so years till she could exact her revenge to come back to the real world, because the real Adeline said Everything had to be perfect. Everything had to be planned out. And when that time had came, they were ready to make their move because the real Adeline said, I am taking back what is mine. Another indication is how she references to fake Adeline, how you married a prince. I was forced to marry someone I did not love and give birth to two children who are not children. They're like demonic in a sense, or they weren't like her, like they weren't hers, like they weren't like loving or sweet. They were just evil because the daughter came out laughing. The son kind of acts like a pet instead of a son, like he hunts. And it doesn't make too much sense, but when you find out that the fake Adeline finally wins and like snaps, sadly, the real Adeline's neck, it kind of, she makes a noise that all the Tedders make to communicate with each other. Like when real Adeline makes noises when they first come into the house, like a clicking or like a craw, or like some type of noise that communicates with their Tedder. They understand what that means in their own language. Same thing with the other Tedders that you see in the movie. They all make noise to communicate with her. But the real Adeline, who they assume is Red, or who is what fake Adeline calls her, is that she's the only one that can talk because she was left at for so long that she can command them what to do. Because I can try to impersonate the voice the best that I can. Hold on. Once upon a time lived a girl. Kind of that, because she was like, it was like her, the way she would say it was kind of scratchy, so it's kind of like, I feel like her throat was so dry for so many years. And as you keep watching the movie, you keep hearing that, and then at the end you hear the fake Adeline make those same noises again, tell their version of her friends who had died, and two, when she was facing off Red at the last moment, because the fake Adeline was chained throughout the whole entire movie, not making a reference to Adeline, the real Adeline, being chained when they had swapped places to begin with. I think overall this is a good movie, and I hope everyone goes sees it, and I hope you enjoy this review for today, and that will be all. And I hope everyone has a nice day today, and enjoy your day. Bye.